Hello again, my friends. This is the fourth video in a series of videos on vibrational compatibility that I'm making in June 2023. And I'm showing these new tools, new insights, new ways of uncovering what connects people together. And we're looking at the compatibility of me and Johannes Kepler. I've already done that. And now we're talking about Rick Levine, another astrologer who also is very strongly inspired by Johannes Kepler. And we looked at how both Rick and I are connected to Kepler's 11 times 7 vibrational chart with all of those trines. And we saw that we're both connected to Kepler's 11 times 7 vibration chart, but in very different ways, different planets, different kind of configuration. Now we see that Rick has an additional connection to Kepler in 125 vibe. We see that in this table that I made where the 125 vibe, in other words 5 times 5 times 5, is the second strongest connection between them, and 125 times 2 is the third strongest. So tremendous emphasis on 125. Also 5 times 5 shows up. But we want to look at these two because there's two of them and they're very high in this list of strongest vibrations. So here it is. I made the tri-wheel. I highlighted what's going on. I've already taken you through a slower step by step, but here it is. Just pull up the 125 vibe. You'll see that this is Johannes Kepler, 125 vibe in the inner ring, Rick Levine, 125 vibe in the outer ring. And what is it that's happening? It's that Kepler has a Venus, Saturn, Pluto. His Venus, Pluto are opposition Saturn. Rick has a Sun, opposition Mars, Uranus, and all of those planets are sitting very tightly on top of each other. So this is 3 planets for Kepler with 3 planets for Rick, all sitting on top of each other. And that's why the 125 times 2 is also strong because of the oppositions. The 125 is strong because of all the conjunctions. We have these 4 planets conjunct all within 5 degrees, spreading from 11 to 16 degrees. These two are also conjunct. Then we also look at other planets between about 11 and 16 degrees. We see Rick's Saturn at almost 11 degrees, Kepler's Sun at almost 13 degrees, Kepler's Mars at 14.5. So those 3 planets are going to come in and make some aspects. For example, Rick's Saturn is, sextile his own Uranus, and, it's making a weak trine to Kepler's Mars. Not making a lot of strong aspects, but it's getting involved a little bit. And similar with this Sun and Mars, they're going to get involved, making some aspects. So Kepler's Mars making trines to his own Saturn and Rick's Sun. So these planets are coming in a little bit as well. So let's read my notes here on the right side. We're looking at the bi-wheel of their 125 vibe charts. We're seeing this huge combination of 3 planets of Kepler with 3 planets of Rick between 11 and 16 degrees. We see the other 3 planets that we've highlighted. This is very strong, but does not appear to be extraordinarily strong. So the listing said that 125 vibe is through the roof, extremely high, and this is impressive. It's definitely strong, but it doesn't look, there's only 3 planets in each chart tightly connected. We're not seeing 4 and 5 planet patterns. Why is their 125 vibe so strong? Because there's one more thing we need to look at. So in this 4th video in the series, we're bringing up an extremely important point, very important, which is the composite chart. The composite chart is extremely important. And what we're going to see is that they have powerful things going on in the 125 composite chart. So on the next slide is the 125 vibe of the composite chart. maybe I should show that to you a little bit. Well, I won't bother. It's very simple. I've shown it in other videos. You just create the composite chart, and then you select the 125 vibe of the composite chart. It's something that sounds totally weird if you're not a vibrational astrologer, that you're going to take the composite of Kepler and Levine and Rick Levine, Johannes Kepler and Rick Levine, and then do a 125 vibe of it. Why are we doing that? Because the program told us in that listing that 125 vibe is very powerful. And what we see in this chart, we're going to look at the details, is that there's a Mercury-Uranus-Venus conjunction opposition Jupiter. It's this 4-planet pattern that is strengthening and highlighting the 125 vibe. This Mercury-Uranus-Venus spreads 10 degrees. We allow 16 degrees. 10 degrees is fairly, it's there. It's there. It's not overpoweringly strong, but it's there. The Venus-Uranus part is strong. Venus and Uranus are tightly opposition Jupiter. Notice this red line from Jupiter to Mercury is thin. I think of this more as a Venus-Jupiter-Uranus. Those are all tight. The Jupiter-Uranus very exact, extremely exact, with Venus closely involved. I'm thinking of this as a Venus-Jupiter-Uranus with Mercury strongly involved as well. So, in this second section here, Venus-Jupiter-Uranus and Venus-Uranus are very conspicuous in the 125 vibe. Oh my God. As I said before, Venus-Uranus is associated with rhythm. In any 5 vibration, it's the playful flow. I've said in other videos, if you have a child and that child has Venus and Uranus in 5 vibration, give that child a musical instrument or give them singing lessons. But not too strict lessons. Let them explore and have fun with it. Venus-Uranus in 5 vibration is music. And this is all in the 125 vibration. This is amazing. 5 is organic flow and curiosity. 5 times 5 is curious and creative community. I just made a video a week earlier than this one on our latest research on the 25 vibe. That makes it clear the 25 vibe is sharing that creative flow and curiosity in a community. What is 5 times 5 times 5? It expands out beyond the visible community to a global or universal level. 125, the 5 times 5 times 5, is a global or universal sense of organic flow, and the planets involved are Venus-Uranus, which is beautiful, exciting rhythm. It can't make this stuff up. This is the music of the spheres. This is the fun, the joy, the life-giving liberation that we live in this creative music of the spheres. We've seen this music of the spheres emphasis also with the Venus-Uranus-Neptune that Rick has combining with Kepler's 77 vibe. The Venus-Uranus emphasis, the emphasis of this music. And Rick is a musician, by the way. I'm a little bit of a musician too, but his flute playing is really incredible. It's this music is a music connected into the spheres. It's unbelievable. That's the message. That's the inspiration. That's the point. My involvement is more in working through the technical details. Of course, there's overlap. You don't want to put people in little tiny boxes. There's so many aspects, so many connections. We're both overlapping a lot as well, but you see the emphasis of what's happening. It's amazing. So this 125 vibe emphasis on the you might say the music and inspirational part of it. And also, just to let you know, this is like an addendum to this, to let you know that when you're looking at these listings, let's look at them of strongest vibrations. This is a very important thing to know about. Let's look at the compatibility, this compatibility listing. I want to show you one more feature of the strongest vibration listing. I've shown you before that at the beginning it shows you each vibration. Where is it from 1 to 360? So for example, just randomly, vibration 78 is the 83rd highest vibration out of 360. So something like vibration 94 at 48, that's one of his stronger vibrations. Something like 109 at 330 is one of the weaker vibrations for Kepler. And then is the sorted list. That's the one we use the most. And with the sorted list, it breaks down the factoring, the numbers that make up the vibration. And we've spent most of our time on this. There's a third part I haven't shown you, which is very long and detailed, where the program shows you the details of all 360 vibrations. If we go down to 125, we will see that this is between me and Kepler. 125 wasn't so important for me and Kepler. The 77 times 3 was. Anyway, you can go down and see what is going on. If I was just curious about the 125, I could see that these are the things happening. So what I've done here in the slide is I took Rick's and RL, Rick Levine, and JK, Johannes Kepler, uses the initials so that this is more compact, and it's showing this really strong connections between them. Rick's Mars and Uranus with Johannes Kepler's Venus, etc. I don't tend to use this listing a lot. Sometimes I might think I want to check to see if I'm not seeing something in the bi-wheel. I may scroll down and look at it. It's there in case you want it. I want you to know about that listing. Lists every detail. Or maybe you're wondering, why is the score so high? Why is the 77 times 3 vibration so high between Kepler and Rick? You can go down to that vibration and look at all the details and see what's giving the most points. The ones with small orbs are in capital letters to stand out, to get your attention, which we see here. You'll see some of these are, like here in 121, are capitalized just to bring your attention to them as you scroll through all these things. So it looks like there's some strong connections in the 11 times 11 vibe, 121. Anyway, just kind of randomly noticing something. But stick to the procedure that I gave, so you're not, going all over the place. I just want you to know about that listing of details in case you ever want to refer to it. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Here is the 11 times 7 times 3 and the 5 times 5 comparison of David and Rick to Kepler. So we're seeing the different energetic things going on. And on the right side, I did a comparison of me and Rick. So I compared me to Kepler, Rick to Kepler. What about me and Rick? Just curiously, take a quick look at it. We're connected on 37 times 9. We do not see 11 times 7. I wanted to show you this to make a very important point. Both of us are connected to Kepler on Kepler's powerful 11 times 7. Are we connected, the two people influenced by Kepler? Are we connected by 11 times 7? No, we're not, but we are connected on some other things. So when you're looking at 3, 4, 5 people, you're looking at a family or a group, you'll see these very fascinating ways in which people are connected in different ways to each other. Sometimes you'll see 3 people all strongly connected on the same vibe. It's not extremely common, but it does happen. It makes for a solidity and simplicity and power. So my main point is this. Don't expect that because Rick and I both connect to Kepler's 77, that therefore we must connect to each other on 77. We don't. You can see among our strongest vibes, it's not there. So let me read from the slide. This means that there are different energetic dynamics. David and Rick are both bonded to Kepler by 11 times 7 times 3, as we saw, but mostly with different planets. We also saw that. This gives a strong similarity, but with a different approach that can be complementary among friends. Among enemies can lead to disagreements. This is interesting. I'm connected to Kepler in one way. Rick is connected to the same vibration of Kepler in a different way. Sometimes people fight over this, the political parties, etc. Sometimes they realize, wow, this is cool. We're doing complementary things. In the case of Rick and I, we love the fact that we do complementary things. This gives a strong similarity, but a different approach that's complementary. Rick also has the 125 vibe connection to Kepler, which I don't have. He has that additional thing. And we connect in our own unique ways. 37 times 9, 24, 6. And we can do the bi-wheels of those if we wanted to see how Rick and I are connected. So I just want to let you know, when you're looking at 3, 4, 5 people, you have to look at each one separately and see how they work. What's going on between, 2 pairs of people does not tell us what's happening with the other ones. You have to just look and see. And then you see the dynamics, the connections, the relationships, how certain pairs of people within a group can contribute different things. And you understand in extraordinary detail exactly what's bringing people together, what different pairs or subgroups can do within the larger group. For companies, you can see how you can make committees. Who's going to be on the committee within this organization? You can see how the subgroups form, what the connections are, and how people work together and what they're bringing. And this is the real, actual vibrational connection. A whole new level of precision, clarity, and usefulness for astrology. Also, it's supported by rigorous database research in an evidence-based practice. So this is a whole new level of astrology. So conclusions. We're finally at the end. This is going to be a 4-part series. What do we conclude from this long investigation into compatibility? If you watched all 4 videos in the series and you're absorbing this and applying it, you're getting very advanced training in the latest developments in astrology. So conclusions. The developments in compatibility analysis in the year 2023, in the first half of 2023, I'm making this in June. Over these last 6 months, these software tools and information about it are being made available. It opens a new door to a new level of refinement and accuracy. This beautiful, intricate tapestry in which we live is becoming understood as vibrational astrologers continue to dig deeper into the mystery of our interconnectedness. This is what I've tried to share with you through this 4-part series. We live in an intricate vibrational tapestry with the database research, with the application with clients, with the development of new software tools. We are unraveling exactly how this works. And what I've shown you in this 4-part series is the latest developments. I was going to say breakthroughs, which I don't think is an exaggeration. These new developments push vibrational astrology to a level of high sophistication that is very different from previous astrological ideas. The controlled research studies on over 20,000 married couples also confirms that people are usually bonded through high vibrations rather than the basic aspects that are commonly used in astrology. So I've recently, I think it was a month ago or so, made videos on the married couples. We have over 20,000 birth charts of married couples with AA data. Fantastic database. What did we find is going on? We could not confirm zodiac signs. We could not confirm basic aspects. I worked so hard to confirm zodiac signs. I wanted them to work. I used the zodiac sign compatibility in my own work, but it's not being verified. But these vibrations that make sense, higher vibrations, amazingly, I never expected this when I started astrology, that these high vibrations are fundamental, powerful, and extremely important. So the ideas have to work in the database. They have to work with application and actual use. And here we're seeing in actual use that they really work. That's it. This has been where am I at now? 20 minutes. One of these was over 40 minutes. I think we're at about 2 hours to go through this and learn this new level of compatibility analysis. Very exciting. And by the way, I didn't mention, but obviously I told Rick I was going to make these videos and verified with him that it was okay. And he said, sure, go for it. You always want to do that as an ethical principle. Don't just start using charts of people, but, I confirmed with Rick that it was fine. You need to do that. I forgot to mention that. It's just an important ethical consideration to do things properly. Thank you very much for listening, my friends. God bless. Namaste.